What's up guys, TC here and welcome back to Starbound Nightly, and today I've got some really good news for you. Staffs finally have secondary abilities.
Yes! Yes!
Jokes aside, last week I was talking about how the staffs would probably not get secondary abilities, but now I get to eat my shorts because Chucklefish went ahead and added them anyways, and they're amazing. They're all support based, so they're not like secondary attacks. They're more like I'll just have to show you. So first up, I want to show you is the Force Cage. This one's really cool. Essentially, you hold right click, summon, and you'll see this little square comes. It looks like a cage, and what's cool about it is it's actually a solid object. So you can use this to kind of like, you can use it to pillar up. You can use it to like get around challenges. You can actually use it in challenge rooms to help make things a little bit easier for you. And its other use is actually for I think it's like you can not capture monsters, but like basically you can lock a monster into an area. So if I were to, if this was someone I didn't like, I could just lock him in there. So you see he's actually stuck in that cage, and you can actually attack them while they're in there. So I'm going to show you real quick. He's caught. Now we're going to use our rain cloud attack and make it rain on this bitch. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very powerful ability. I shudder to think of how powerful this could be in PvP. So it's going to be amazing to try this out. On up next we have, so these next two I'm going to need you to please ignore the art, because this is what we call coder art. Essentially whenever the coders, like whenever they're trying out an idea, they have to put their own art to it just to kind of test if it works. And then once it gets approved, they push it on to the artist and they make a proper animation for it. So this is a really, really funny animation, but it's called Repulsion Zone, and it's just a joke animation. It will be fixed, so don't read into it too much. And so you see it's these little arrows, and if you try to walk into it, you actually get pushed back. And you see the player actually can't go through it. You get bounced back a lot. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a repulsion zone, so you can kind of use it to hold off and push back enemies. Any kind of choke point, you could easily use it to basically lock out, because there's no way to get out of this right now. Well, that's weird. Maybe at an angle it doesn't work. I don't know. But it definitely is going to have some work on it. But yeah, basically it pushes you. Up next we have the opposite of that when we have the attraction zone, and this one's pretty cool in that it's the exact opposite. It actually, it's kind of like a little black hole. Like it'll actually suck you in, it'll suck monsters in. Very, very, again, it's going to be extremely powerful. If you can manage to catch an enemy player in that, then you can just unload on them. There's hardly a lot they could do. This next one here is called the low grav zone. This one's not quite as useful. Essentially, you're going to see it adds a lightness status effect. The problem is it goes away instantaneously when you come out. So in testing, I found that you could actually use this, like if you were to like place it above you, like about here, and jump, and then double jump out of it, you can get a little extra jump height. But what I think they need to do is add a little bit of a lingering effect to it, like make it last like 1 second when you leave it, and that should that would fix that up probably, like just to kind of have a useful. It basically allows you to have like an extended jump whenever you need it. The next one we have here is a healing zone, and this one is huge. I love this one. It's about time we've had something like this, and essentially you stand in it and you get the healing effect, and it's actually a pretty good degree of healing too. It heals you quite a bit, and this is going to be huge. First off, not only for like support players who, if you want to, like if you're going to be playing it with a group of people to be able to support your teammates, this is huge. On top of it, you're also going to be, if you're someone like me that doesn't want to carry like 3 or 4 healing items in their hotbar, you can just basically convert energy directly into health here. So I'd still probably carry like red stems on me, but if I didn't feel like wasting them, or if I wasn't in like a combat scenario, I could use this. But you could always plop this down and just switch to a gun. That way you're healing in a spot, and it's very powerful. It's also going to make pets more viable too. So this is something else I'm really excited about. As you know, the pets only have, they don't heal on their own unless you give them a healing collar, which kind of limits like all the good viable collars. And with this pretty much allows you to put whatever collar you want on them, and then you can heal them on the fly. You don't have to plop down a healing station. You can just spawn your pet in and heal them right there. So there's really no need for a healing collar, which gives you options for all the other cool collars. So yeah, I'm really excited about the healing zone. Up next we have the slow zone, and this one is very, very similar to the bouncy, or the, what is it, low gravity, in that it needs to last longer when you get outside of it. Because you see, it only slows you down for like a second because you're not like in it for very long. If it lasted for like 1 second longer after you leave it, it could be really, really powerful. But anyways, that's all the ones they have in there now. I think they're going to continue to add several more in the coming weeks. Up next, some really cool stuff here. First up, I'm going to show you one of the new in-game staffs, which is this is a pre-generated Right now it's called the Ferocium Staff, but it's actually the Rubium Staff, as you can tell by the looks of it. And this one has a really cool primary. Spawning in, fucking laser swords, which you can guide with your cursor. So pretty much wherever you're pointing, you'll see they actually go that direction. Very, very powerful. And its secondary is the Force Cage we saw earlier. This could change. I don't know. I think it might be placeholder. I don't know. It's just weird to see the randomly generated have it, and the craftable have the same secondary ability, but we'll see. Now this next bit here is something brand new to the series that we have never seen before, especially as far as staves have going. We have a wand. Now it looks kind of like a normal staff, but it's actually a one-handed staff, and this is the first of its kind, and I think in the coming weeks we're going to see a lot more of these. I think that the wands are going to be randomly generated just like we've been seeing these staves, because essentially if you think about it, the staff class is the only class in the game. It's one of the 3 main branches, and it's the only one that doesn't have a one-handed variant. So if you look at guns, you've got pistols, you've got assault rifles, so one-handed, two-handed variants. You look at the melee weapons, you've got short swords and axes that are one-handed, then you've got broadswords and hammers that are two-handed, right? So with the staffs, we now have two-handed staffs, and we have one-handed wands. So obviously the one-handed wands don't have secondaries, but they have a primary. Spawn this one in. And it's a very similar one to the swords, but yeah, it's very, very powerful, very cool. And right now there's only one wand, and it's a Ferocium wand. And this is going to open up, to me, it's going to open up a lot of like possibilities. One thing I love about it is the concept of like a defensive mage class. So now you can like have a shield and use your magic. And in the future, I think we're going to see lots of different one-handed wands. And so now, if say you didn't want to go with because see, the staffs are kind of like a little bit of offense, a little bit of support mixed in. But if you wanted to have 2 wands that were both offensive, you could have fully offensive magic class if you had 2 wands. So really quick, I'm actually going to show you what this looks like. It would obviously look better, I think, with 2 different types of wands. But yeah, you can use both of these things here. Spawn in both of them, and you have a huge barrage of magical attacks. Now up next, I want to point out some really, really cool stuff that's kind of popped in. It's got some interesting implications to it. First up, we have this brand new, so it says a bubble blaster on it, but it's actually the Age Assault Pistol, and it's a fucking laser gun. Yeah, it's amazing. I love this thing. Really, really cool. No sound effects yet, again, but I love this thing. One thing that's weird about it is it does have a limited range, so you'll see here it actually doesn't go any further than that. But as I thought about it, it's actually kind of OP if it just went across the screen, because it's a laser, so it doesn't have a travel time. It's essentially a hit scan weapon. So if it was just able to go all the way across the screen instantaneously and ignore accuracy, I think it'd be a little bit weak, or a little bit too strong. So I can understand why they kind of limited the range on it. Up next, we're going to have something else that's kind of weird. We have it says it's an Age Assault bow, but I'm going to explain these names here in a second. And this thing is entirely different for a bow compared to all the other bows in the game. If you've ever played with the bows much, you would know that they have an arc on them. Basically, they are affected by gravity, but this one is not. It's a fucking laser bow, and it shoots straight as an arrow, pun intended. It's really amazing, and it actually has a if you do the little, it's got like a little critical hit animation if you release it at the right time, and you'll see it'll actually bounce if you do that. And this is definitely an in-game bow, I think. It does not have a secondary, although I wish the bows did, and I kind of hope they will in the future. But moving on from that, I want to show you guys the next 2. We have 2 in-game swords that are in the game now. First up, we have an in-game one-handed short sword, and these things are really cool because they're. Well, hold on, let's put this away here. There we go. So if you look at it, it looks like I'm just holding like nothing, but it's actually a fucking laser. It's like a lightsaber, and so yeah, very, very cool sword. It's one-handed. Now if you don't swing it for a bit, it'll actually go out. It does not use energy. I was worried that it might use energy while it's out like that, but it doesn't. So very, very cool. And then we have a 2-handed variant here, and this is basically just the same thing as a bigger version. And it's kind of strangely, it does not have a secondary right now, although I think that will definitely change. It'd be really weird for it to not have one. Now this next bit I want to point out, and this is just conjecture, I don't quite know, but I wanted you guys to see it because it's kind of interesting, a little theory here. I think we're getting one of each, like one weapon for each of the N-tier elements or composites or whatever. And so if you look here, you'll see this pistol. It's called a bubble blaster, but if you look at it, when you spawn it in, it's called an Age Assault pistol. It's Age Assault colored, and it's one-handed, right? Then we have here, this says Age Assault bow, but it's actually blue, the ceruleum colored, and it's two-handed, right? Go over here. This is a Violium short sword. It's one-handed. Here we have, it says Violium broadsword, but I think because it's black, it's actually the Impervium, right? So now we've got Age Assault, Ceruleum, Violium, Impervium. Go over here, we have a one-handed wand, which is the Ferocium, and you see that little green, the mint-colored crystal, which is the Ferocium colored, and then here you go. This says it's Ferocium staff, but I think it's actually the Rubium staff, and that would give all 6 of our in-game ores a corresponding weapon to go with them. So that's my little running theory. I don't think they've had the proper names applied to them yet, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Is we're going to get like these things here. We might even get multiple ones for each one, but I'm not sure. But anyways, that's going to wrap up today's episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later.